So this video is about freedom of speech. Thank you for joining me today. I very much appreciate it on my channel. I'm Jim Gibson, and I'm running for State Superintendent of Public Instruction in California. It's the highest elected position in education in California. And I'm a conservative, pro-family, pro-parent, pro-education person. And if elected, I'll be the first one that's not put up to run for this office by the teachers union. So teachers union will not be endorsing me, I'm definite about that. But today I want to talk about freedom of speech. It's kind of an interesting subject, and I kind of hit on it on another video. But there was an opportunity to talk about freedom of speech. Way back when I was on the Vista School Board for 20 years, I was basically the only conservative on the board for most of that time. And I remember sitting down in a board meeting, and as I sat down at a board meeting, the lawyers were there. And this is a closed session, so we always talk about possible lawsuits. And you're supposed to do that not in public, but you're supposed to keep records of it and everything else, so after something is over, you can do the research. But to make a long story short, the lawyers were there, everything else, and as the lawyer sat down, he had a bunch of papers, and as he sat down, he laid his papers on the counter, and it slid across the counter and ended up right in front of me. And it was about that thick of a proposed lawsuit against a local church. And I said, I looked at the other four, and I said, I didn't authorize any lawsuit against a local church. And now I had to be informed of this. This is a board decision, not an individual decision. And I said, we spent a lot of money because it's like a couple $100 an hour for someone to write that. It's almost like a book. And they were proposing that we sue a local church. And I thought, wow, that's really silly. Why would you sue a local church? And the other board members were quite upset over it. They're passing out literature. And I said, okay, where are they passing it out? Well, they're passing it out on the sidewalk in front of the high school. I said, okay, you're allowed to do that? It's a free country and freedom of speech. And they said, yes, but they said that the only way you can get to heaven is through Jesus Christ. And I said, yeah, I kind of believe that too. That's one of the things I believe. And they said, well, that's hate speech because you're excluding all the other religions. I said, it's not hate speech. Besides, hate speech is protected under the Constitution. And the fact that they have an opinion, not opinion, they believe strongly that the only way to get to heaven is through Jesus Christ, and that's why they're passing out literature. They want you to come to heaven with them. So I don't see this as hate in any way. Every religion has their own ideas of how to get to heaven. Of course, I kind of believe that Jesus died for me on the cross. And because of that, I'll go to heaven, because I trust that. But they went on and talked about hate speech and everything else, and this is horrible, it's offensive. Just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. Okay, a lot of people get offended. It doesn't make them right, nor does it give them special considerations because they're offended. That's life. I mean, you're going to be offended on different things. That's the way it is. Jesus was offensive enough that they crucified him. So he's not this, easy to get along with guy, the old fatherly person who just never says anything that's offensive. But to make a long story short, I said it's not hate speech. It doesn't even come close to hate speech. But even if it did, it would still be protected by the Constitution of the United States. And I remember the one lady looking at me and said, Jim, the Constitution does not protect hate speech. And I said, yes, it does. It protects hate speech. If it doesn't protect the most offensive speech there is, then it is not freedom of speech. Because you don't need defense of speech if you agree with the speech. So, there was an argument, this discussion, or whatever you want to call it. It went on for a little bit. And finally I said, why don't you give me your definition of hate speech? And they said, well, you know it when you hear it. And I said, oh, I did not know that. that means when I hear some of the things that you said, or some of the things that someone says, I didn't personalize it yet. I said some of the things that people said, and I say, well, that's hate speech. Is that what hate speech is? I can determine what it is. It was under my subjective opinion. And they said, yeah. They got all excited. Yeah, you got it. And I said, okay, then everything that comes out of your mouth is hate speech to me. So shut up, because you have no right to say hate speech. And of course, everyone in the room kind of laughed because they realized the silliness of their position. You know, it's kind of interesting that when I first was on the board of trustees of the Vista Unified School District, one of 5 people who make the major decisions in the school district. When I first got on the board, I noticed that when the public came forward, that those who the majority board members didn't agree with, they would shout them down and they would cut them off. You're done, leave, go back into the audience, you barbarian. That was sort of like the attitude they had. And, you know, I noticed those who they agreed with, they would encourage them to say more, say more. So I decided I would talk to the board, and I said, you know, you guys are discriminating by content. Those who you agree with get to speak longer. Those who you disagree with, you shout down and push into the audience. And I said, you're going to be sued because this is not legal. You don't have the right to shut people down. We determine 3 minutes to speak, and they can speak on any subject they want. It's 3 minutes they get uninterrupted to speak their mind. And you know something, they may have some good ideas. And they say, well, you don't agree with the people we agree with. I said, you know something, I don't interrupt them. I treat them with respect, as all speakers should be treated with respect. And I said, maybe they could say things that I might learn something new. I have an open mind on that, and I would listen. I know what I believe. I know my principles. I know what I believe works best, but I'm always willing to listen to the other side and treat them with respect. So it continued on like this, and I found out that the Vista Unified School District, before I got on the board, was sued. And for this very purpose, a couple years before that, they were sued by telling people they can't say certain things and they can't speak. And I found out that there was an enduring court order that prevented that. Now, you didn't need an enduring court order to prevent that. I mean, it's obvious that that people have a constitutional right. Plus, taxpayers own the school system. They pay our salary. So I pointed that out, that there was a enduring court order that they couldn't do this. And again, you really don't need that. You got the Constitution. So I said if they continued along these line of reasoning, shutting down conservative speech or speech that they don't like, that I was going to get a hold of the court system and let them know what you're doing again. So I propose that they come up with a timer that's independent of anyone, because I was timing them. And I noticed that certain speech was cut short, others were extended. I said everyone gets treated with respect. They are taxpayers. They deserve our respect. They are parents. They deserve our respect. They are teachers. They deserve our respect. But the bottom line is everyone is treated equally. Everyone gets the same amount of time. And when they get to their 3-minute mark, you politely say, I'm sorry, your time is up. We need to move on to the next speaker. In fact, what I did is I instituted a green, yellow, and red light. So when they got within 30 seconds, the yellow light would come on. And I would be reminded to finish up their speech. But pretty much that's what I instituted, and that's what worked in our school system. And some people on the other side would say, well, did you hear what such and such said? This person spoke before the board. Don't you disagree with them? And I said, yeah, I disagree. Well, doesn't that get you upset? No, it does not get me upset disagreeing with someone. Just because someone is offended doesn't mean they're right. But in this case, I'm more than willing to listen to the other side. I want to hear what they had to say, and I want to see if my ideas work, and they do. So we're there. Now today, I hear about Elon Musk and his talk about buying Twitter. And I applaud him. Sounds great. That's fine. And he says he wants to open it up to free speech. People can say what they want, unedited, and don't have fact checkers. You know, I always notice that when the other side disagrees with you, they call it misinformation. It's not misinformation. It's the person's right to have that opinion. So, and I hear the other people saying things like, this is the death of democracy. A rich guy is in charge of free speech, and he's going to kill democracy. We don't need more free speech. We need more moderation. It's like, no, we need more free speech. We need more people saying ideas and their ideas and being able to vocalize them without threats of being fired at their job because they vocalized a political opinion. I mean, this whole nonsense stuff with wokeness, it reminds me of my years in high school where who was cooler than this person or that person or what group you belonged to, and you were cool and everyone else should shut up. So silly. It is absolutely so silly. I am not woke, and I can't be canceled. I own my own business, and I'm old enough to realize that some of this stuff is so silly. And I'm surprised that big corporations and well-known reporters and stuff like that would be scared of what Elon Musk is going to say or what he's going to allow on Twitter when he buys them. Because eventually I'm pretty sure he'll buy them. So that's my viewpoint, and I don't think any board member anywhere, when they have open public comment, should ever shut anyone down. They should be given the full minutes of the time that they've been allotted. And we should consider what they say, whether we disagree or don't disagree. We should treat everyone with respect. There's a novel idea. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you watch the next one. I hope you give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and that's the only way this video is going to get distributed is if you share it with other people and give me a thumbs up. Make comments, please, comments. No one ever comments on my videos. You would think that everyone agrees with me. Or if you agree with me, you'd make a comment. Thanks again. You have a great day.